Hello, Gamma here, and firstly, let me thank you for clicking on this video, taking time out of your day to do this, and I hope you enjoy it as we move along today. Well, after an excruciating wait, my goodness, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is finally here, and man, have I already put too many hours into this game already. Please help. These CPUs in this game are really bodying me this round, my gosh. But with that aside, even with all the hype surrounding it, Nintendo and Sakurai still had to add some icing to our ultimate cake. At the Game Awards 2018, a certain character was announced to be included in the Smash DLC pack. This character was Joker from the Persona series. Now, a lot of people... I know, I'm sorry. I just had to make the joke at least one time. You can't not make the joke, it's just so perfect. But anyways, with this announcement, it really opens the door. The door is up for third-party characters to join on the fun. Speaking of third-party characters, as the title says, I'll be going into the reasons why Monster Hunter should be a character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There are tons of videos about why everybody's respective video game character should be a fighter in Smash, and it was time I did mine. Now, at first glance, it would seem pretty far-fetched to have a Monster Hunter as a fighter in Smash. But hopefully, after these reasons and you finish the video, you'll be like, you know what, Gamma, I can kind of see them being in the DLC. Now, Monster Hunter has been in my life since I was in middle school. I've been playing it on the Wii for the first time, and man, I'm now playing it on the Xbox, as well as on the Switch. And I still play it a lot. But with that said, I had to represent for my fellow Monster Hunters, since I barely see any talk about them as potential fighters. Now, as I said, Joker has been confirmed, and there are still 4 more DLC character slots. So this is the best time as any to talk about Monster Hunter before the rest of the final DLC is announced. Here are the reasons why the Monster Hunter would, could, and should be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as added DLC. Reason number 3, we have the monster, why not the Monster Hunter? In case you didn't know, and this is already confirmed, especially since Smash is out, Rathalos in his own boss stage, as well as the soundtrack, the Rathalos theme, is in the game in Smash Bros. World of Light campaign. So with that said, every boss, in the game, has a fighter represented in their respective series. So even though Rathalos is confirmed on his own, is it not strange to have his nemesis, the Monster Hunter, in the game as well? A big running theme for this Smash Brothers is, even back when they confirmed Ridley, is they had this hero-villain thing going on. They had like a Simon vs. Dracula, Mega Man vs. Yellow Devil, Shulk vs. Metal-Face, Metroid Samus vs. Ridley, Ness and Lucas vs. Porky. All of these bosses that I mentioned have their respective fighters in the game. And when they confirmed Rathalos, as much as hype as I was even more hyped to the fact that a Monster Hunter character themselves could be confirmed. To the fact that it's a bit strange to not have the Monster Hunter himself in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So with all of that said, it's not anything too next level, but the fact that they put the monster in, period, shows that they're at least aware of Monster Hunter and say, this wouldn't be so far-fetched to have him in the game. And this kind of leads into my 4th reason. Reason number 4. Mii characters had confirmed skins in Super Smash Bros. 4. Or other people say Super Smash Bros. For 3DS/Wii U. So, I don't know a lot of you know, but Mii's were kind of mixed when they announced them. It was cool, but you could use them online. But you could get some really cool skins for them, either fighter, sword fighter, or the brawler. 3 types of Mii's to use, and then you could design or edit them or add other skins to them. And a lot of them had a lot of fan favorite armors and skins. So back in this game, they had the Rathalos armor for the male and female Mii's, as for the male and female sword fighter Mii's, as well as the Origin set armor, which is the original set from the PlayStation 2. The original Monster Hunter game. So the fact that they even, and then it had the sword in there as well. I'm like, I'm telling you, a lot of this research has opened my eyes to, them really loving on Monster Hunter. I did not even know that this was a thing until I looked deeper into the Mii's and their skins. And a lot of people, a lot of other skins are Isabelle, King K. Rool, Inkling, and Chrom. All 4 of these people are actually in the newest Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, on that same flip side, people will say that Geno is also a skin, Ashley's a skin, Knuckles is a skin, Tails is a skin, and even Zero has a skin. But people like Zero and Knuckles are in Ultimate, though they are assist trophies. I think Ashley is too, but Geno and Tails, don't know about that. But it just shows the fact that they, once again, just like Rathalos in Ultimate, they recognize that there are Monster Hunter fans, and that, who like to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I'm sure Capcom was like, hey, we can't get the fighter in, can we at least get an armor or a skin? And then Soccer is like, hey, yeah, man, go for it. So these two reasons that I mainly mentioned was the fact that they recognize Monster Hunter, and that they say, we can't get him in the game, but we'll give you the next best thing, we'll give you this and this. But with the Rathalos confirmation, that's what really pushes me to think that they will add a fighter as a DLC character. Now, one of the first steps to adding a character from their respective company is that that respective company have a pretty decent or working relationship with Nintendo. And I think Capcom, when it comes to Monster Hunter, has shown that time and time again. For one thing, there is a lot of crossovers with Monster Hunter as in Nintendo franchises. For instance, there are a lot of different crossovers that they've had, and I'm just going to go ahead and name a few. In the Super Mario Maker game for Wii U and 3DS eventually, there was a feline skin as well as a Monster Hunter level. There was a whole level made just for Monster Hunter with other references, and even the music in the background was the Monster Hunter theme, which was amazing. And thank what's his name for this footage that he let me play. I want to put the channel in the description as well. There was also in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, there was a Mario and Luigi Palico skin, and Palico is like your cat/feline companion, and they got Mario and Luigi skins as well as hammers. And watching those guys run around hammering stuff and jumping around was pretty satisfying, I gotta say. Now in the same game, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, there was Samus Aran, so you can get her skin as well as her blaster, and a Legend of Zelda Link skin as well as his Super Bow. You can get that as well. And in the same Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I'm realizing the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate got a lot of DLC, but there was also an Isabelle Palico skin where you could dress your cap up as Isabelle from the Animal Crossing series. Now, another thing that I did not realize until after I did the research, in the Monster Hunter spin-off game, Monster Hunter Stories, there was a Legend of Zelda DLC pack. One where you could dress yourself as Link, and your monster companion, whether it be a Rathalos or whatever monster it was, could be over the skin over him was Epona, the horse that Link rides everywhere. And in Zelda Breath of the Wild, there was a DLC for that. In Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which is the most recent Monster Hunter game on Nintendo console, there was a Breath of the Wild DLC where you can dress up as his skin, have his sword and his bow, and that was amazing. Now, when Joker was announced, a lot of people said they didn't see this coming. Wink, wink. I'm sorry, I gotta stop. Anyways, and it made sense because nobody ever thought Joker. Now, there was a few people who said, yeah, I can see it, it makes sense. But for the people who say that, super third-party characters are possible, you gotta remember, and if you didn't know, I didn't realize this either, or I remembered, there were actually 2 Persona games on the 3DS back then. I know. Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth, and the sequel, Persona Q2, New Cinema Labyrinth. So you gotta understand that even though he may seem like a left field, and he is because he's Joker from Persona, like what? But he had at least, the Persona series already had at least 2 games on a somewhat recent Nintendo console, the 3DS. So you gotta understand that even though left field characters are a thing, having some sort of relationship with Nintendo already in the beginning is the foundation for adding your character. And one more thing for Monster Hunter and their great relationship is that they had 6 games exclusively on Nintendo. Or when I add them up, it's a bit more than that. But let me list them out for you. There was Monster Hunter Tri for Wii, which is what I started with. After that, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate came out for the 3DS and the Wii U. Then there was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Actually, Monster Hunter 4, which came out in Japan, and then Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate that came out on the West exclusively for the 3DS. After that one, it was Monster Hunter Generations for 3DS, and then following that one, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the 3DS again, but then they did an exclusive Switch port. So now you're able to transfer your data from the DS to the Switch, which I'm doing. It's amazing. I'm playing on that beautiful Switch is so good, especially on the TV. So with all that said, I'm pretty sure Capcom, and the Monster Hunter dev team has shown themselves pretty worthy when it comes to Nintendo consoles, especially when you add up all those games and DLC and other crossovers together. They have a great relationship, and seeing Monster Hunter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as DLC isn't so far-fetched anymore. Marvel vs. Capcom had the Monster Hunter as a playable fighter. Yep, they did, and from what I've seen, she's super fun to play as. This is another thing that I did not know until I did the research on it. She wasn't in the main roster or anything, but she wasn't in the added DLC later on. Now you can imagine how hype I was when I found this out. And I'm so hyped and I'm happy because it shows that at least Capcom is not totally opposed to putting their Monster Hunter or a Monster Hunter character in the fighting genre. Now I have heard rumors and interviews about them saying that they were kind of iffy about letting one character represent their entire game, especially when a lot of their character choices are based on what the player wants. But I raise to you characters like Corrin or Villager. I mean, shoot, even Pokemon Trainer and Inkling. Just all these characters where you can shoot the different skins and or gender. I mean, you'd be able to, for Monster Hunter, you can have a few skin palettes, but and then each of them choose between male or female. It wouldn't be a problem. That's where I think it would come from. Now, once again, they weren't totally hype about it, but it sounds like, I feel like if Nintendo was like, hey bruh, what y'all trying to do, they would add them in. And with all my other points, I really think it points to them adding them in, especially since she's already has a record of coming in late to the party, but she does make it to the party. And with all that said, the Hunter, when they added them, I've seen a bunch of posts on Reddit and reactions on YouTube about people who were super happy, like really happy, like someone was surprised happy, like a character you didn't know you wanted until they added them in to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. But imagine the reaction when you add in Monster Hunter in the most anticipated game of the year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And let's be honest, with Monster Hunter's track record, every game they've sold has sold better as they've gone on. Especially Monster Hunter World, which won Game of the Year. My bad, not Game of the Year. Best RPG Game of the Year. Yeah, my big God of War. But yeah, it just shows that this whole thing, it'll show that they at least have put it in a fighting game. And now she did have, her weapons were the bow, the great sword, and dual blades. So, 3 pretty representative weapons. And I'll go into later what I would do with that. But with what she had, and then even her final attacks and final smashes look pretty cool. And I can imagine how that would translate to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Reason number 7. Capcom already has 3 of their most popular characters. Why not have a 4th? Now, in case you guys didn't know, back in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Mega Man was announced way back when, and people went crazy. And people went even more crazy when they saw Ryu from Street Fighter in there as well. 2 of, actually, Capcom's most iconic characters on there, fighting in the Smash Brothers. I almost said Battle Royale. Good God. In the stage with the rest of the Smash Brothers. Along with Ken being added in this. I think he was in the last Direct as well. He's an Echo Fighter of Ryu, but it's one of those things where Echo Fighters is a great thing because you can put in a lot of characters who may be similar enough to have them in, but not have them as a whole character. But you better believe, even a few of my friends love Street Fighter. They were super happy to have Ken in, even if he was a similar copy to Ryu. It's just the fact that they have him in the game, which is amazing. And each of the Mega Man and Ryu, if you want to count Ken, they each have their own stages and soundtrack, and Mega Man even has a boss in there as well. Now, I've already made my case for Rathalos being a boss and him being in there, Monster Hunter, bang, 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 bang in there as well. But with all that said, is it impossible to have them in there? Mega Man and Ryu are some of their most popular, iconic characters, and Monster Hunter actually is rising in the ranks as well. In the Monster Hunter world, that really launched them back into the mainstream limelight. What I mean is, as I said, a lot of their past few games, 8-9 games, have been on exclusively Nintendo consoles. And when Monster Hunter World launched on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and even on PC, a lot more people took notice, and the fan base grew a lot bigger than what it was before, having a lot of returning people and even gaining a lot more new followers in there as well. So with Capcom on the list, Monster Hunter World is the highest game ever. They got bank out of Monster Hunter World, and the thing is, people love it. People love the game. So adding them in as a DLC, it may be a bit late to the party, especially with Rathalos in there, but a lot of people would love it, and a lot of people would appreciate it, and you would have technically 4 Capcom characters in Smash. That would be unprecedented. And you better believe, if I see Monster Hunter in this game, bro, oh my goodness. But I say all that to say that Capcom is not new to adding in characters to different games, especially when it comes to their top 3 in Super Smash Bros. And being in the most recent iteration, Ultimate. So adding in the Monster Hunter as a character with skins and taunts and other things, and I'll get into that later, wouldn't be so impossible.